computer. Hi, thank you so much, Jonathan, for joining me today on this episode of UC Riverside Environmental Science Department podcast. I'm the host, Win Cowger. I'm a PhD candidate at UCR in Andrew Gray's lab. And in a minute here, I'll let Jonathan introduce himself as well. He's a rock star undergraduate here. Really looking forward to talking with you. I have one form of housekeeping. Just a disclaimer for people, we're not technically endorsed by University of California. This is just colleagues having a conversation with one another. So thanks again, Jonathan. If you'd like to introduce yourself as well.
Yeah, it's my pleasure to be on here. I'm Jonathan. I'm an undergrad UCR student here, majoring in environmental sciences. I don't really have much of an introduction right now, so
that's perfect.
We'll go off that.
Perfect. And you're very modest. I want to add just another thing too. You've been working with me on a publication and adding just really tremendous insight into into the writing of that manuscript that we're going to be submitting soon. And so that's how I knew you. And thanks again for joining. So yeah. What's been going on since COVID? I mean, we're rounding the anniversary of 1 year of COVID. Totally changed our lifestyle. Have you been doing anything outside of school to kind of keep yourself sane during these times?
I would say probably not too much, but I've been trying to get into chess because I know it's been really popular online.
Oh, cool.
I've never been really much of a chess avid before, but I've been trying to get into it a bit. So
that's so cool. I just recently started getting into chess too. All right, so are you playing online?
Online, yeah.
Was there a specific site that you go to?
I think I was mainly doing it on chess.com, as maybe I was checking as well chess24, but I would say mainly chess.com since it's probably the most user-friendly site and is pretty widely known.
Oh, nice. Do you play with like random people or do you have specific people that you play with?
I do. No, I wouldn't say specific people, but it's more so whoever I match up with and pretty much whoever's online on the site, I guess, because there's I guess maybe millions of people playing it.
Yeah, that's so cool. I got to check that site out. Maybe we can play on there at some time. I've been getting into chess too with my girlfriend, and we play each other like multiple times every week. We're such noobs though that I like mixed up where the king and queen were supposed to go when we first started. So I had like the king on the same color that of what it is, and it's supposed to be the other way around. Anyways, then we found that out, and then there was another rule. There's the rule with the pawn, where the pawn passé, I think it's called, or en passé.
En passant, yeah, it's pretty.
Passant, yeah, there you go. That one with the pawn, I didn't even know about that rule, and then I found out about it. I was like, okay, the game's gonna change a little bit, but yeah, that doesn't come up that often. I mean, it's pretty rare that happens, but yeah, it's been really fun. She hadn't really played much chess at all. I played since I was 11 years old. I used to play against my dad, and he used to beat me all the time. But when I turned, I think I was like 25, I played him again recently, like 3 years ago or something, and I finally beat him. I had never beaten him, not even once. It was a proud moment. Have you had any cool moments in your chess games?
Well, I'm not saying I'm very good, but I've been trying to get better. But I haven't been playing too much of it. I've been just trying to get more into it again. So
yeah,
I know there aren't too many special rules or whatnot, but it can be pretty daunting at first when you realize, Maybe my pawn can be captured in this way, or
Right. Yeah, yeah. I always love that moment in the game where the number of moves starts to get so complicated. It's like, oh my gosh, like how are all the pieces like attacking the board right now? It's just I can't keep this many things in my mind at once. Yeah, it's always a fun one for me. That's when things start to slip, you know? That's when like you start to make mistakes and people
and all
start.
hell goes loose.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Cool. Well, I definitely want to play some chess with you sometime if you'd be down.
Yeah, I'd be cool with that.
Cool. Yeah, it would be a good mix up from my girlfriend. she she'd probably appreciate me playing with somebody else sometimes. Um. Anyways, so yeah, so I'm I'm I think a lot about undergrads and their ability to do research at UCR over the past year. It's been really hard for us in the lab to be able to get undergrads working with us because undergrads can't come to campus. They can't go to lab. They can't go to field to do field work. And so, anyways, it's been really sad to me to see that go down and how I feel like undergrads have kind of um, not been given the opportunities that most people like any other year would have had these opportunities, but this past year it's been quite different. So I'm wondering what your experience has been. If you could talk a little bit about your experience as an undergrad here, like what was it like in March when everything started to, change, and what's it been like for the past year?
Well, funny that you actually mentioned that. I was thinking of enrolling, I think, next quarter for ENSC 197, which was a research for undergraduates course in
Oh,
the
cool.
spring. I still need to get permission. I think I need to get my a petition to enroll in that course signed. So
Okay.
I'll probably have to do that. But regarding, I think, since the entirety of last year, um, I think I was working a bit with maybe Will Porter on some stuff,
Nice.
but not really too much other than that.
Yeah. Yeah, I know he does a lot
And
of computer work. Are you going to be doing your 197 with Will Porter as well, or do you have a professor in mind?
I was actually thinking between Professor Gray and maybe Will Porter because I've been in their classes before. I know them probably more than I guess some of the other professors. So I would choose between them.
Yeah, cool. Definitely reach out to Dr. Gray. He's great. Um, I think he'd definitely be down. So
Yeah, I know him very well, or
yeah,
pretty well, I guess.
yeah, yeah. He's awesome. Um, cool. Yeah. So it sounds like definitely the opportunities and stuff. You've still been able to like get yourself in research, and that's just great that you've been able to find those opportunities. I guess for like I'm thinking about getting this podcast out to the undergrads within the department. I'm sure that they're kind of wondering like, how'd you do it? How did you find that research opportunity to work with Will Porter um, when you during this pandemic time?
I would say probably because I've been in contact with him before. I've had his 102 class, which was atmospheric science. So I've been able to keep in contact with him a bit, as well as I'm also taking at the same time his 130 course, which is a more conceptual version of his atmospheric science. It deals more with the weather and climate, perhaps certain areas of it more in detail. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think I would perhaps say that the best way to, if you want to get into research during perhaps these times where you're not able to interact directly with the professors,
Mm-hmm.
or even get directly involved in a lab, is to perhaps keep into contact with the ones you've already interacted with in before the pandemic, or maybe if you're a freshman, uh, perhaps get involved in some of the opportunities that the ENSE department emails, because I know the environmental science department, they tend to send out emails pretty frequently about opportunities, I guess maybe internship opportunities or possible um, research opportunities that come up with other labs. So
Yeah.
that's how I got involved in some of the I guess research opportunities. Or I actually took a part-time job as well with a biology lab, I think from my sophomore to junior year,
Oh,
before
cool.
the pandemic came up. So that was pretty cool too.
Oh, nice. Thanks. That's super gold. I'm sure any undergrads listening are gonna really appreciate that. Thank you for providing that insight.
Yeah.
Um, what was class? What's class life for you these days? What are the kind of differences between classes today and classes before the pandemic for you?
Um, I would say personally, maybe focusing on perhaps your studies is harder because it's easier to get a lot more distracted versus maybe an in-person setting.
Hmm.
Um, like having that actual in-class interaction, I would say, is a lot more meaningful,
Yeah.
especially if you're really trying to focus on, like, let's say this course, maybe it's really hard. I know my experience with OChem would have probably been a lot different
Yeah.
now versus in class.
Ooh.
That in class instruction really does help.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh
it,
man, I
so
cannot imagine OChem over a computer. That would be really hard.
yeah, I know my sister is really struggling with that right
Mm.
now in her courses. But I would say perhaps maybe the workload itself is easier
Oh,
because the
okay.
professors I've had been way more understanding of the online format.
Right. That's good.
So it can be both tricky and a relief at the same time.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm sure being able some like classes are more flexible times and stuff like that too, because you can watch recordings or whatever. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, okay. Cool. Um, sweet. So what are your plans for after you graduate? You're a third year, is that right?
I'm actually a senior.
Oh, fourth year,
I'm planning to
sorry.
graduate soon, so
You when are you graduating?
I think plan in the summer. In the
Oh,
summer to
okay.
graduate.
All right. Right on. You're coming up round in the bend.
Hmm.
That's a good time. I mean, hopefully by then COVID is going to be much more relaxed. Um, so what are you hoping to do?
Um, I should be what's it looking to job search soon. I think perhaps by next quarter. But yeah, I'm looking to perhaps actually start working. Um, I don't know when exactly, but I know I'll have to start job searching by next quarter. So that's my plan right now.
Yeah. Do you know what kind of jobs you're interested in?
Um, I've been keeping perhaps in contact with some people from SoCal Edison, as well as what was that name of the? I can't come out. I can't remember at the top of my mind right now, but I do have this contact with this other these other individuals from, because I remember I've had the for my ENSC 174 class. What was it? What was it called again? I can't remember off the top of my mind, but I was I was in contact with these representatives from another company. I think it was related to. They do a lot of work with in data science and
Oh, cool.
involved in energy use and perhaps water sustainability management. So I've been perhaps eyeing them and what they have to offer.
Great. Yeah, man, data science, you're speaking my language. That's what I'm really into in my research. I love data science and develop a lot of like web applications and desktop applications and stuff to help people crunch data. Um, so yeah, that's awesome. I didn't even know that you were doing that kind of stuff too. That's cool. Um, what kind of I think that that is like a really cutting edge area of research or of a job market for environmental science researchers. And I'm wondering, what are the kind of things that you're seeing when you're looking for job application or job announcements? Like what sort of requirements are they looking for? What sort of skills have you had to develop to be able to make yourself marketable for that?
What I would say is they're probably really interested in what your current experience is in other languages. For example, Fortran. Perhaps I definitely know they expect you to know like the basics of like R, how that works, how to conduct data analysis and do stuff like hypothesis testing. Um, but I think a big part also is like how quickly can you get to know, for example, their software or um, how your experience in other languages, for example, or how would you know, how would you quickly can you learn this specific software that is similar to what you've been doing?
Yeah, yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's cool. Fortran is something I've like do you code in Fortran?
I've not used that one specifically, but
Yeah.
I've used other ones like R. I forgot to mention that Excel is also a big one. That's I know it's there is some certain aspects of coding in it, but I think it's more so for organizing data and being
Right.
able um, to put your analyst in with what's that word? I don't have that at the top of my mind right now, but
Yeah. Yeah,
being able to use
Excel, yeah, can be really useful off the shelf. Yeah, I haven't done much coding in like I think the language there is Visual Basic. I've done a little bit in that one, but Fortran seems really hard. I like haven't even touched it because I looked at the code one time and I was like, "Whoa, this is intimidating." But
yeah, I haven't done. It's not like I've done as much as perhaps like a CS major.
yeah,
They definitely do the most by far, but
right. Yeah.
it helps to have at least some knowledge of at least some of the major languages that are useful to your major
Yeah.
on deck. So yeah.
Yeah, cool. Well, it sounds like you are very marketable in that space. I'll keep my eyes out for job announcements and stuff and send them your way. Hopefully you'll find something really soon. I know that's a really booming field, so there's going to be lots of opportunities for you for sure. Um, yeah, if you end up wanting to work with Dr. Gray next quarter and you want to work on some R coding stuff, let me know. Got lots of things I like to do there. Lots of projects to work on. So, cool. Yeah. Another thing I was thinking about. So when you were talking about classes and the differences between COVID and non-COVID times, I wonder if there's anything that we could, like, now that we've lived through COVID times and we've lived through this different style of teaching, like, what sort of things would you like to see retained in the future? You know, like when we go back to the other normal, would you like to see anything different there for undergraduate studies?
Oh, do you mean like in courses in general or
Yeah, like when we go back to like in-person courses and stuff like that, is there anything from that we've like done during these COVID times that you want to see stick around and implemented for the in-person classes?
yes, I think there's one thing in particular. This has, I think, been applied to pretty much all my courses that not just environmental science that I noticed, but one thing that I think really helps us are the lecture recordings of the recordings of lectures that pretty much all my professors do, because it's very helpful to reference back the material rather than perhaps maybe looking at like a stale presentation PowerPoint
Right.
of what was explained perhaps maybe at like 8 a.m. in the morning when maybe not everyone is awake. Or I just think those recordings are really helpful. If you don't remember something that was discussed, you could reference it back, watch the material, and catch up, jog your memory of what that topic was. Maybe if it's something more technical, that would be especially useful.
Yeah.
And I think it also helps a lot for the students in terms of maybe relieving some of that midterm or final stress when those exams are coming up.
Right. Right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So yeah, recording would be that would be great. I hope I agree. I like having those recordings that you can use and reference later. I know a lot of people, even in classes when I was taking them, if the class wasn't recorded, they would just have their computer open and record it or have like a voice recording app open or something like that.
I'm not sure how feasible that would be in an in-class setting, but I know that one example that I think my one of my bio courses did is they would include caption notes in their slide on what was discussed. So it was easier to reference back what perhaps that image on a PowerPoint slide set was talking about, or these certain formulas that were present. So perhaps maybe not, if we're being realistic for going back after COVID,
Yeah.
maybe not like an entire presentation, an entire recording of the what happened in lecture, but maybe details in however they're presenting their lectures that describes what they're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if in the fall, if um, we'll see there's like going to be a hybrid, because maybe not everybody will be vaccinated, or maybe not everybody will feel.
I wouldn't expect it. No,
What's that?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't honestly expect it. Maybe it is a possibility, but I wouldn't expect vaccinations to reach everyone by then.
Yeah. Yeah. So then, like, I think there'll still be some people who want to learn from far away, dude, and they'll need some sort of recordings. So I feel like the university's got to figure that out. They've got to be able to have like a camera in every classroom that the teacher can use to record the lesson and share it with everybody or something like that. Hope so. That's a good idea. So what are you most looking forward to after COVID?
Maybe actually start working, knowing that I can actually get out of the house because I've been cooped up a lot. I
Oh
think pretty
no.
much most people have been cooped up at home. I maybe some people have perhaps been able to get out more, but no, I don't know. I don't have much of a reason to get out at the moment too much.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been really cooped up too. I spend 5 or 6 days a week in my house. Go outside for like 20 minutes a day or something. Turning pale.
Oh, I've gotten really pale too. I used to be a lot darker, especially. Yeah, I know my skin has gotten really pale as well because I haven't been out in the sun too much.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I don't.
Maybe perhaps before we were all cooped up in here, I would have considered it more of a blessing because I didn't have to go out all the time and whatnot. But now it's like, I maybe want to go out a little more than I currently am right now.
Yeah, yeah. What kind of things do you think you'll want to do once you can go back outside?
I don't actually know at the moment because it's not like I can really meet with my friends that I've met on campus, and we talk over, like we do keep in contact, but it's not like I can meet with some of the people that I really love talking to
Yeah,
in person, because perhaps maybe they moved,
right.
back home. I know a lot of my friends have, and they're in different cities. That's not always feasible now.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm
Well,
not actually
maybe you
really
can travel
sure.
at that point. Post COVID, could travel to go see him.
Good, yeah.
I really want to travel to Mexico. We're so close, and I've never been. It's one of my dreams. Have you ever been to Mexico?
I did. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I did. My family used to have a timeshare
Oh, cool.
in Puerto Vallarta, but we sold it off because we weren't visiting there too often anymore.
Oh, okay.
So, and I think this was before. I don't know the political situation now, but there used to be a lot of issues with cartels and gang violence.
Okay.
Um, but I don't know how that's changed since.
Right, right. Yeah, I don't know either. Yeah, I'm hoping to go down to like Baja, California, and spend some time on the beach. Also, there's some rock climbing out there I want to go to.
Interesting. You
Some
got
big.
any specific uh, areas that you would like to visit?
Yeah. I'm trying to remember the name of this rock climbing place. It's this. They're these like mountains made of rock, basically like 2,000 feet tall rocks.
Wow,
Um,
that's
and
very high up.
yeah, it's in like central Mexico, and I just don't remember the name of it right now. But I've been scoping that place out for a while now, and really would like to go explore. Um, Maybe do some like beach things. I know people go like kite
I could really use
surfing.
that right now too.
Beach, yeah,
Yeah, good. Just head out.
yeah,
It just not be where I currently am.
yep, yep, yeah. Soon. I just got vaccinated today.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm
Yes,
super
right now.
excited. Check it out. Got my
Nice.
Band-Aid and everything. So got my first round. I need one more round, and then I'm good. Oh, it's crazy. Crazy how fast
Yeah,
that.
I've still yet to get my vaccination.
Yeah. Well, it's coming up. It's coming up. Be ready.
Hopefully Kaiser will
Jump
offer
on
that
it.
for like my age bracket.
Yeah. 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 Hopefully you'll be up soon. I think in the next like month or two. Should be able to. Yeah. Great. Um, yeah. Well, thank you so much for meeting with me. Really
Yeah,
appreciate
it's been a pleasure.
this time. Looking forward to playing chess with you and staying in touch about your future employment opportunities and potentially working with us in the lab some more. Gonna get that paper out soon. Still working on it. Thanks for all your recent comments on there.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, I know the entire um, publication process can be very lengthy, and there can be a lot of backtracking.
There really can
I
be.
would
Yeah.
imagine it's probably even a lot more complicated than what I'm participating in right now, helping you doing for the perhaps some of the more bigger studies, um, perhaps more advanced in depth experiments that a lot of other researchers do professionally. So, like for their, in their careers. So I can imagine it's very, very involved.
Yeah, just once we get the reviews, you'll see those because I'll share them with you. You do, it's not your responsibility to respond to them or anything. And I'll deal with it, but you'll see them. That's where the real fun begins. It's like we have this perfect paper. Please accept it
Oh,
into your
yeah, I
journal.
believe it's far from perfect. I know it's what we probably have.
And then they
It's
come
still
back and they're
very
like,
much a work in progress.
yeah, they're like, this needs to be completely rewritten. I don't know why they even started with this idea in the first place. Every time, every time. Oh, well, it's fun though. It's fun and it makes science. It does make science good. It makes science like that's why the papers that come out are really high quality. So because we're very rigorous in the sciences with our writing.
Yeah, I've had to do this for my for my weather and climate class with Will Porter. We're doing like this mini research project, um, and a lot of it is involving reading these very in depth and um, technical papers on perhaps like Science Direct and whatnot. You can see like the difference on what like the final published paper looks like versus maybe something that what I read initially when you like for example sent me like the first manuscript. There's like a huge world of difference.
Yeah, right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The first manuscript is very rough always. And then it just slowly gets better and better and better. And then you start asking questions that seem, like it's make or break, where should this comma go? Once you start asking those kind of questions, you're like, I just don't know where this comma should be. Then you're almost done. Because then the questions are like not really that important compared to like the big questions when we start out, like, is this even the right figure to make? Is this is this even the right equation? Yeah, I've enjoyed it. Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, thanks again. This will be on this will get posted to the department. I'll also see if I can get it sent to the undergrads in the department and maybe through like the environmental science club or something like that. And I'll post it on YouTube and stuff. So yeah, thank you. Thanks for joining me.
It's been my pleasure.